Once upon a time, there was a boy called Little Sammy. Little Sammy didn't know anything about stability, about tension, so when he went to the gym, he was stuck on the light weights for ages. He had no idea how to push past his limits. He had no idea how to lift the heavier weights that everyone else was lifting. He was confused and he didn't know how to move up or progressively overload. He was constantly stuck on the lower weights and he had no idea how to fix his form or how to fix his tension or stability. You are Little Sammy, and hopefully I can help you today. So you're wondering why you should listen to me. Well, went from this fucking skinny ass monkey to somewhat respectable. So you should listen to me because I've been through my own powerlifting, bodybuilding stages in the gym for a couple of years now. So I think I can give you some little bit of advice that can help you kickstart your gym journey. One thing I see so often with new people who are joining the gym, new young men who are trying to improve themselves and trying to join the gym, the one thing I see every single time is that they lack stability. They lack some sort of tension throughout the entire movement. The one most common place I see it is bench press and the lat pull down. And even on other bench exercises, mostly on push days and pull days. Leg days, it's just them not being able to hit depth, so it comes down to mobility and form, which I'll go into later. But right now, when it comes to, say, tension and stability, let me explain that to you. So say, for example, on the lat pull down, I'll see a lot of people going really light on weights, so I know that they can lift heavier than that, just based on how it's moving, but simply because they lack the stability and they lack the tension in their entire body, they're unable to pull down that heavy weight. If they simply just moved a few things, gave themselves a bit more tension, a bit more stability, which I'll explain in a second, then they would be able to pull a lot heavier weight than they think they can. The thing is, you can pull heavier, lift heavier than you think you can if you're able to incorporate the right places to have tension and the right places to have stability. Because your muscles are much stronger if you isolate them to the place where they are instead of moving around the weights in the wrong places because you don't have the right stability and tension. So what do I mean by stability? So essentially when you're holding the weights in your hand when you're doing bench press, you can't just let it free float down because you're having too many muscles get in the way and you're not in the right leverage position. Leverage is essentially where you put yourself in the best position to produce the most amount of force. And you produce more force, you can lift heavier weight, and then you get a better muscle stimulus. For anyone new, my name is Vanch, and I'm trying to provide as much value of what I know as possible to anyone who is watching these videos. And anything that I learn, I'm trying to pass it along to you guys watching. So hopefully, if you enjoyed that, you should click on the subscribe and the post notifications so you can see more videos like this, and you can learn along the way with me. We can have this cute relationship together. So click on subscribe and the post notifications to win for the both of us. So say, for example, on the bench press, the one way that you can incorporate stability is by engaging your lats. So if I were to explain that to you, it's essentially your lats are over here. When you're grabbing the bar, if you think about turning the bar inwards with your wrists, not actually with your wrists, if you think about bending the bar while you're holding it, if you think about bending it, your lats will get engaged. And that will give you tension, that will give you stability, so that when the bar comes down, it's in a clear bar path. And it's not moving around everywhere. If you keep a clear bar path, because you have the tension, when you push up, it'll follow a similar bar path, which means that your body will be ready to push the weight up to that certain position. Now, where does tension come into this? Everyone forgets about the lower half of their body when they're doing pushing or pulling movements. But if anything, that's the most important part. That's what gives you stability and tension. So when you have stability, that's essentially where your feet are planted straight into the ground. This is what you have to do from every single push, pull exercise that you do from now, plant your feet into the ground. What I mean by that is your feet in the ground and then twist your knees outwards. That's essentially what you're doing. You're planting your feet in the ground, so then you have a bit of tension. And now, when you're doing bench press, for example, the best way I like to describe it is that you're pushing the floor away. Or you're using your feet, the tension in your quads, to push your traps into the bench. And that way, you create that arch that you want, a little bit of an arch. You always need it because it's safer than having it flat. And then you also get tension in your legs throughout your entire body. The idea is to keep tension throughout your entire body because that gives you stability. So tension through your abs, through your legs, through your chest, through your lats, through your back, everything. And that will give you that stability and that form that you need to actually do the reps. How can this work on, say, pull exercises like lat pull down? Well, essentially, feet planted in the ground when you're sitting down, you're pushing with your feet. When you have it down, engage those lats, or pull your shoulders back essentially. I don't really like that cue, pull your shoulders back. I think of it like pulling your shoulder blades into each other. Kind of like that. And you'll pull down into your chest, and then you'll follow that movement. You need to have the correct form with the correct stability and the correct tension. If you have all these things, you'll be able to lift heavy weight. The simple ways to create tension or stability is simply by engaging your lats, tensing your abs a little, and planting your feet into the ground. If you do these things, then you will have better tension and stability than you had before, which means you'll be able to lift heavier weight. Alongside with learning the form of certain exercises, like right now I can't explain it to you because as you can see I'm not in the gym. But I can tell you to go onto certain YouTube videos to find the form that you need to have for certain exercises. It'll be everywhere. You search up anywhere. Based on the tips that I gave you, the tension, stability, you search up the form and exercises that you don't know how to do and incorporate it all together, you'll be able to lift heavier weight. And if you're lifting heavier weight, you're going to get a better and stronger muscle stimulus, which means that you're going to grow more muscles. And that's the reason you clicked on this video, right? You want to grow more muscles. So you need a better muscle stimulus. And the way that you do that is to be stronger. To be stronger, you need more tension and more stability and proper form. Coming from the powerlifting world, we always say that every movement is a push movement. And we're kind of referring to the push-pull leg, which is essentially pull being deadlifts, push being bench, and legs being squats. All those movements are a push movement from your feet. So essentially, even deadlifts, right, you'd think it's a pull movement, but you're pushing with your feet. That's the main point. And then you're pushing your pelvis through the bar to lock out. It's always been a push movement. And I think you can incorporate that into every exercise. Essentially, even lat pull down. It's a push movement with your legs, but you are pulling down with your arms. Same thing with like the incline bench press. The one thing that I see a lot on these bench press movements is that people will always have their feet moving around. As I said from the start, it's like they lack tension. You don't want your feet moving around a lot because it means that you've left it all to the top body and then you haven't given yourself that foundation, that build up for you to just simply move down and push up and allow you to focus on pushing the muscle. Because if you fuck up and you lose tension, then everything falls. You can't lift this heavy weight. So I want you to focus on really pushing that ground and really focus on, well, you don't really need to tighten your lats for everything. But it's like you want to focus on the movement while also making sure you're stable while doing it. And that means from feet all the way up to, well, the top. I guarantee you from now on, if every exercise that you do, whether it be push, legs or pull, if you incorporate a sense of stability and tension, especially from when you're starting, you will exploit those newbie gains at the best rate possible. So stability and tension, don't forget about that, because I see a lot of young men starting the gym making this mistake, and I don't want you to make that mistake. So listen to that, take that advice, try it in your next gym session, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for listening to me, man. Go get that shit. Click on this video right here, click on subscribe, and, give me more subscribers, more watch time, please. Love.